Yep, I'm doing a speed paint. On this channel, I've never actually shown that I do art. It is something I do, and I've been doing it for a long freaking time. So, for the first video I ever really showed my artwork, this is Catnip Panda's Neon Runner art contest. I was so excited when I saw this. I was pulling into freaking school when I got the little notification. This character's name is Luma. I had no idea that this was her name until I finished this. So, yeah, this is Luma. I spent hours on this, okay? I had a sketch of what I wanted to do of, like, her pose because I was toying with it because I couldn't come up with anything. But I finally found a pose that looked satisfying. I held on to it for a week. You know, and then in the video, she said, you know, add some rain, add some neon lights, all that kind of crap. And I was like, okay. So when I was looking up, because there's barely anything really released for this, so I was like, okay, she's in some kind of cyberpunk world, neon lights, and I was basically stalking Catnip, alright? I was stalking her on Instagram and looking through all her stories and photos to find out what I could do with this. So I started doing little sketches of the Combini, like, convenience store. Is that what it's called? I have no idea. I freaking drew it. But then I drew a little vending machine next to it, some trash cans, all that jazz. So, I made this on the iPad Pro Gen 3 iPad, the 12-inch one. It's the brand new one. I got it this Christmas. Okay, the original iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil sucks. I hated it, so I got the Gen 3, and now I love it. Anyone that doesn't know anything about the iPad Pro, I don't know how you wouldn't. Freaking everyone on Instagram and YouTube has it, but I used this. The program I used was Procreate. It's only like $10, which is pretty cheap compared to like what I've seen that you can get on like a computer. I don't know. I've never done art like on a laptop or something. Anyway, I'll tell you my process or whatever. So I just copied the colors straight up from the reference sheet. It was pretty easy. And then the shading is just knowing your color theory. It's not really that hard because you don't want to make it like just making it a darker pink where it looks kind of like there's like black or gray in there. You don't want to use that. And I used purple for a bit of darker shading on the skin. And then, you know, the hair is kind of like the same deal. You use a different kind of color for the shading and it looks more appealing or realistic or something. I don't know. For the actual line art, I just sketched it in my sketchbook and then scanned it in here, traced it with the pencil brush, and just kept the pencil because it looks better that way. I don't do it usually because most of the time I just get rid of the line art altogether for my art and just make it look a flat line of color, which is originally what I did, but I got rid of that original Luma because I hated it. And now this is the better one. So, yeah. There's not really much to say until I start doing the convenience store. When I was doing it, the Combini, I hope no one is laughing at me for pronouncing this wrong or something, but when I was doing that, it freaking cut out that part of the video when I did the neon lights and stuff like that. So if you're wondering how I did that, it's pretty easy because there's literally a light pen and I just used the light pen and it looks like it's illuminating. But you can do that on any digital program if you just use like a blur effect on whatever you want to look like it's glowing or something. Just use different kinds of blurs and it should make it look like it's glowing. Something I've learned with the eyes is that you never want to make them platinum white. You always want to make them darker than that and shade it in with like a purple. It looks better that way. It looks more realistic or appealing. Oh god, the cutie mark. Okay, I spent like 20 minutes on this cutie mark because I couldn't get the little corners right or whatever. I love the cutie mark. I love it when there's like unique cutie marks on pony OCs or whatever. So I really wanted to get this right. So when I got the size for the lightning bolt to something I wanted or whatever kind of thing it is, I just like kind of almost photoshopped it. I replicated it, made it pink, and then moved it around a little bit to make it fit better so I didn't have to sit there and try and replicate and all that crap. Then after I kind of shaded in the cutie mark, I started editing with the skin because I thought the skin should be a little more saturated. But then it just like started acting a little weird. You'll see that in a second. It was like making the lines behind her like bleed through and all that crap. So I couldn't do anything with it. Then I started working on the convenience store. Originally, it was going to have no line art because Luma has different line art than the store does. But then I was just going to like motion blur the store anyway so you wouldn't really notice. And then this window. So I don't know how to make windows look like windows. You know, that kind of transparent effect, but you can still tell it's like clean or whatever. I don't know. I couldn't accomplish that here. But luckily, it doesn't matter because all of this is just some blurry background. The posters are kind of plain because, again, it's supposed to just be a blurred background. The fun part was this vending machine. So I made it the traditional red, and then I made like maybe like 6 sodas and different stuff. Like they're the same, they're just dyed a different color. And then I copied and pasted them and put them in different places. So that's not really special in any kind of way. And then here, I think you can see when I used the light pen. Because for the light bulb inside of the vending machine, I made it look dimmer than what a normal vending machine would look like because the lights are usually like behind it. The light is on top and it's shining on all the little drinks. To make it look darker, I put a little purple layer on the cups, turn the opacity down, and then to make the light look like it's shining down on them, you erase that purple layer or whatever, and it looks like it's glowing on them. So it's pretty cool. That's what I did with Luma. Did that on the store too. But midway, when I was showing that, for some reason, the footage literally disappeared. It's gone. I have no idea how that even happens. And, you know, you can see the light pen that I did, and I added the combini and all that stuff. Freaking deleted it. I'm so mad. Also didn't show whenever I did the darkening effect on Luma. And you know, it's what I did with the cans. I did like a purple layer, turned the opacity down, and then I just erased the back. Here's the rain. I suck at doing rain. It looks a little better than something I would usually do, and it looks like the rain isn't hitting her. She's like in front of the rain. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I made the rain how I do stars. So I do a small section of the rain, I copy and paste it, and then I copy the whole, and then when it's covering the whole page, I copy it, I flip it, and I make it so it looks like there's a ton of it. And you can do that with stars, and it makes it look like there's a ton of stars. It's pretty cool. I did have an idea for a moon in the back and casting some light or shadow or whatever, but with the neon lights and then the light bulb and the vending machine, there would have been too much light, too distracting. And then there's my signature. I don't know why, but I sat there editing it for a while. I was like, this doesn't look nice, and changed it a ton of times. Probably already noticed this from the very beginning, but I was done. I was complete. And then I noticed Luma is missing her freaking jacket or sweater or whatever. I did a freaking face palm. I was so mad because I forgot it, and I was just gonna leave it out, but then I got mad at myself. I was like, no, you have to include it. But it was easier than I thought. I just started drawing in the jacket, and then I got rid of most of the layers so I could see it better, started coloring it, shading it, all that jazz. So there's definitely more I wanted to talk about in this video, especially with Catnip's new video that just came out today as of when I'm recording this about YouTube algorithm. But I don't think I really have the time. She did come out with another video in between this about public transport. I live here in a nice suburban city here in the US. I never have to worry about frickin' buses unless if it's school related, or trains, unless if I hear it in the distance. I go to an alternative school, so my bus is filled with troublemaker kids that love to have brawls in the back of the bus. So, you know, you can be all scrunched up in this bus while I have to witness and dodge punches, okay? Do I start fights? No, I don't want to be connected with anybody there because I just want to get home. And thank God my bus driver's cool with me. He always drops me off first, so I'm out of that mess before anyone has the chance to start punching each other. Addressing Catnip's video today about YouTube algorithm just a little bit. I understand that you feel like no one is watching, but please don't let that be your main concern to not continue Neon Runner if, let's say, you're like halfway through the series. Because trust me, even if it's only like 50 people watching, those 50 people are so excited to see that content, including me. Welp, the video's almost over. So after I edited it, because after I freaking screwed up the jacket thing, I had to put in the lining again. But then I edited it in Photoshop and added more like colors, made the colors pop. But yeah, if you want to see more of my artwork, just go on my Instagram. That's Jalen_noodles. I'll put it in the link in the description. Bye, y'all.